Deviants, welcome to show. I am Clint, and I am here with
Devo
and the Gooch,
and we are the Social Deviants, and we're here today to talk about a topic that we haven't really covered yet. Actually, I think at this point in the episodes that we've recorded, we haven't talked about music much.
No,
and I think it's one of those topics that is very subjective.
Yeah.
It's if we start talking about music, we may never even mention not only a band that you would like, we might not even mention that genre of music.
I don't know about my fellows here, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be talking about any band that's come out in the last 10 years, maybe.
Maybe you.
No, actually,
I
I was talking to Devo about this. Can you guys name a popular band, a band that we would know of, or maybe even our parents would know of, that was spawned, that didn't exist 10 years ago?
10 years ago?
I mean, I could think of band names that I'm assuming are becoming popular now. They haven't been popular back in the day, but I'm sure they've been around for years and years.
That's the
and years.
point. Like even these bands that people, oh, well, what about this band? I'm like, they've been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
They just only got popular recently.
Yeah.
You know, I just feel like when we were young and we were in the 90s and the early 2000s, there were a bunch of bands that we were listening to that literally it was their first album. They were like they got together a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, and there's obviously the older bands that have been around and stuff, but I feel like there's a lot of band activity, and I don't feel like that's a big thing now. And I think that was most evident when I went to Coachella in 2014, and not only were there every band that was there, like a real rock band, was an older band, but every newer act had like some sort of like heavily electronic aspect to it.
Right.
Where they either didn't have a drum and they were just people up there playing a guitar and singing to like some pre-recorded, you know, electronic music or whatever have you, or something sampled and stuff like that. And I really think that right now what's most popular is just a singer that has some songs.
Right.
And they just go up and sing their songs. Like the biggest people were like Calvin Harris and Pharrell and stuff like that. They don't have a band. I mean, maybe I think Pharrell maybe had a live band playing for him, but his songs aren't written for that, you know?
Yeah, well, that's also a different type of music, right? Even Calvin Harris, he's
electronic.
Yeah.
But that's what's popular right now.
Yeah, and like
EDM
even like
and all
Ed
that.
Sheridan, right? He's not a rock star; he's a pop artist,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Was like pop artists are going to be their single entity.
I mean, we with Mogwai, I saw them; they were there. There was like, I was like, okay, finally, there's some metal here.
Yeah,
but
yeah, but how long?
they've been around for a long ass time since the 90s. You know,
Yeah.
so we're gonna try to create a new band. Okay, we're gonna create 3 new bands from old people. So that's the thing too. Is like even back. Remember, like what was that band? Hell Yeah. That had Cut and Mudvayne and the Pantera guys.
Yeah.
That's the super band, right? And when
Yeah.
you had like, but the band itself had never existed before.
And then there's Velvet Revolver.
And,
Revolver,
exactly,
yeah,
right?
the guys,
Those types of bands. Even Tapeworm. I forgot what they ended up calling that group. They made 1 or 2 songs. I guess it was just a perfect
No, it was just
circle.
Tapeworm.
But a Perfect Circle was a super band to an extent too.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was just thinking of one. It just slipped my mind.
Tomahawk.
Not Tomahawk. Who was it? I don't know. I forget.
But the idea of a super band is a lot older because Cream and stuff like that. And you had you had these super bands that existed back in the 60s. So, you know, today we're going to try to create our own super bands, and we're going to do it by way of draft.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to ask you guys is, in this draft, do we want it to be just the same order every round, or do you want it to be snaking? Snaking means that so say it would be you, Gooch, then you, Devo, then me, then I would pick again, and then you would go back to you, Devo, then back to Gooch, and then you would pick twice and so forth.
That's fine.
All right, yeah, we can snake
We could do that.
Snake, yeah.
So you get to pick 2 guys in a row.
Okay.
Or you could just do 1 by 1.
Unless you're the third person, then
but you
unless
have
you're
to pick 2 in a
second
row.
pick, then no. If you're second pick,
Then you're always picking in the middle.
so you're fucked.
Yeah. So maybe we'll just do it 1 by 1.
No, just
No,
take
that's
it.
fine because that's you know, there's so many musicians out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
And so Devo has something where he's going to determine the order.
Yeah, so we are going to be rolling the dice here. All right. Lucha, we're going to go first with you.
Shake him up, shake him up, shake him up, shake
All right.
him.
And this is a 6-sided die. So Lucha is rolling. Again, you got a 1.
damn, man, rolled like 3 times. I got a 1.
All right. Clint, I'm going to roll for you. Rolling, you got a 3.
Okay.
Going to roll for me. I got a 6.
Okay.
So
I guess
I go
that means
first.
that you go first.
1, 3, and 6.
1,
Shit's
3, and
rigged.
6. It is rigged. Thank you, Google.
Okay, so before we start, this is the setup. We're gonna pick 5 guys each. So you want to get a singer, a guitarist, a bassist, a drummer, and you can have an ancillary
A
fifth
utility
guy,
player,
utility guy
right, yeah.
who could either be an extra guitarist, could
That
be an
plays
extra
tambourine?
bassist, a second
Triangle.
singer,
The triangle? Yeah.
or
harmonica?
or you could play
or a backup dancer.
That's fucking right.
you could have backup dancer.
That's right.
You could have a keyboardist. You could even have a guy who bangs on a beer keg,
Okay.
That's right.
like in Slipknot.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know their names, but
Sean Crahan.
yes, there you go.
Yeah, the clown.
Now, and then I'm going to give a little bit of background on each guy. So Devo.
Question.
No.
When I make my first pick, or when we're making any of our picks, do they have to be alive or can they be dead?
No,
anyone
they,
anyone that's ever lived.
they can be dead.
Anyone that's ever lived.
I mean, I don't
Like-
know. I think there is something to be
You're
said
like,
if they were
I want
alive. 'Cause
Beethoven as my
Well,
pianist.
well, I think the thing is that if they're alive, that means the band could theoretically be made right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right?
Yeah. So you don't want you can't pick Jimmy?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But let's just pick guys that are alive.
Okay.
Let's pick guys that are alive.
Okay, guys are alive. That
Guys
makes
that are
a
alive. I think
little
it
bit-
makes it easier that way.
Yeah, it makes it more interesting that
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
I just gotta set up the notes here real quick. So, I
So
can
no
keep track
Frank
of all
Zappa, Gooch. I mean Devo. I know that would be your
know.
guy. I know that would be your
this.
guy.
He was on my draft list, but
Yeah,
we're gonna
take
have
him.
to- We gotta take him off here. All right. So all right,
The,
let me
the
just-
good thing for Lucho is everyone in Black Sabbath is alive.
They're still alive, which is surprising.
yeah.
They're extremely surprised. I'm extremely surprised they're still alive. So
All righty. So with the first overall pick in the super band
the
draft,
2016 Superband draft.
Devo picks on bass from the band Tool, Justin Chancellor.
All right, so tell the people who Justin Chancellor
So
is.
Justin Chancellor came to Tool. Couldn't even tell you the year.
I think
Halfway through the recording of
Undertow.
Anima.
on
Anima, because Paul Damore was the original Tool bassist. He recorded all of Undertow and their Opiate EP, and he started recording half of Anima.
And then he went and did Lusk.
he decided to leave the band, or they parted because of creative differences. I don't exactly
This was during
remember. Anima. And then they brought in Justin Chancellor, who was from the band Peach.
Yes,
And so
another good band.
So like you listen to like Third Eye, gosh, there's 46 and 2. It's weird. It's almost like directly down the middle, half the songs. And you can, if you listen to the songs and you start paying attention really to the bass, you could tell which ones are Paul Damore. Because Paul Damore, he still has that kind of punchy sort of driving bass line, but
Yeah.
Justin Chancellor's just more intricate in what he does.
He's
So like
more
that
fluid.
that 46 and 2
That's
bass
him.
line,
That
that's
bass
all
line's
Justin
amazing.
Chancellor.
It's so dope.
that's
Yeah.
a great song.
I mean, he came up with Schism.
yep.
Yeah.
That's him.
Yeah, and then everything after that's been Justin Chancellor, and even when I've been in a band like from Ammo to Cycle and all the stuff that I've been in, he's always been the biggest influence in me. He's the reason why I use a pick. He's the reason why whenever I would play my bass lines, I'd always try to have it feel more like a guitar and have just more intricate bass lines than just do 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 da 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 do do.
I mean, he's definitely one of the most technical bassists
He's-
in
I mean,
rock music.
Yeah, and he's an incredibly talented bassist. He's obviously not the most talented bassist. I mean, there's some guys out there, past and present, that just do some really crazy, outlandish stuff. But he's able to take a simple 4-string bass and make it sound uniquely different, just like Les Claypool. You know, you
Yeah.
give Les Claypool a 4-string bass, he's going to make that thing do stuff that it was never intended to do.
Yeah.
Chancellor, you know, he's able to utilize some effects and create some different sounds and stuff. But to me, Justin Chancellor, he's been the best.
Oh, it's me.
That's
Yeah.
you, fool. What are you doing?
Okay, so my first pick that I'm gonna go with, I mean, when you make this pick, it's almost like you're gonna pick your favorite musician of all time type thing, right? And so it's really tough for me to pick that, but I think I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start at the bottom. Start at the bottom. I'm gonna start
Please don't be that Canadian bastard.
with who?
You start from the bottom, now you're here.
No, I'm not. I didn't say that. I said I'm
thank
just starting
God.
from the bottom. I'm starting with the drums, my favorite instrument.
Okay.
And I mean, it's tough for me to think of who my favorite drummer is. I mean, there's so many guys out there. I really like the guy from Mudvayne.
Mm-hmm.
I really love Vinnie Paul. But I love Danny Carey, of course. I think he might be the best. But I think the guy that I'm choosing from my band is Brandaler from Mastodon.
Brandaler.
He's just he's the goofy looking blonde haired dude.
Yeah.
I love his fills. I love the way he drums. I love this. I love the fact that he can go slow, he can go fast, and he's just. I mean, maybe he's not the most technical guy, maybe this and that, but I just love the sound of his drumming. You know what I mean? I feel like his his drumming, he can do any type, I feel like. I mean, Grace, he's maybe not the best guy, but in my band, the band that I'm planning to put together, that's the drummer I want for my band. My drummer's the drummer from Mastodon, okay? Yeah. not no boom, boom, tss. My drummer's the
guy from Foghat.
This guy. Nice pick.
All right, Gooch.
All right, so I'm going to start with my guitarist, and it's going to be Tony Iommi. You can't mess with the guy that's pretty much made heavy metal what it is today. You know, him and Ozzy. But he, with the riffs that he made, you know, the guitars, we saw him live. He just rips it up. Fool's missing a finger. He doesn't matter. He has like a piece of cowhide on his finger. He just rips it up still. You know, that fool fought cancer, survived, back on stage, boom, still as good as he was, you know, from back when the 60s. So I have to put that legend in there.
And what did Rob Zombie say about Black Sabbath and Tony Iommi in particular?
I don't remember.
He said, well, I can't remember who told me this, but I remember he said, well, we're doing the best we can considering Black Sabbath took all the good
exactly.
riffs.
Yeah, that's what.
Wow.
That's what he said. So
I mean, Iron Man, NIB,
dude. And those are the
popular ones. Paranoid.
Like, yeah. And I think Warning is
War Pigs.
Is one of the.
This will say War Niggas.
Warning.
Warning.
I think that's my favorite.
He's got that selective hearing.
I remember in Warning, it's like he's talking with the guitar.
Exactly. So, and it's more bluesy than heavy metal, but then it comes in. It's a great song. So Tony Iommi is my guitarist, and I'm gonna go with what is it? Zachary De La Rocha.
Zach De La Rocha
as
the vocalist. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because people are like, why don't you pick Ozzy? Because Ozzy, obviously, I love Ozzy, but I think the way he speaks and what they write. I know a lot of it's Tom Morello, obviously. What the music is written, but
yeah, but his lyrics are pretty.
His lyrics are great. I love his lyrics, and if there would be a band, I'd love him to be in my fucking band. That's why I just love his lyrics, his passion for the lyrics, and he's awesome. So he's my singer.
Okay, so I think the next guy I'm gonna take, I'm playing right now. I'm playing the. I feel like when you're doing your draft, sometimes you gotta take guys a little bit early because you're afraid the guy, and after you might take the guy that you want before you get to pick again. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, okay, now there's two guys I want to take right now, and the one guy that I think I'm gonna take, I'm only gonna take him because I'm afraid that Devo is gonna take this guy. Even though Devo already took a bassist, I'm going to take who I think is the best bassist in the world, other than like some guys that are probably like in some jazz bands that we may have heard of, right? Is Les Claypool.
Yeah.
And before you said it, I just started writing Les.
I knew I had to get him because I was worried that I might not get a chance to get Les Claypool in my band, because I just feel like there's something about Les Claypool, the way he plays, that not only do I like damn near every song he's written, and his singing obviously is like, I feel like Les Claypool's like Jonathan Davis. Like, if you listen to him singing, you're like, this shouldn't be a good singer.
Yeah.
But he's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, his voice isn't all that great, but the way he sings and the way he puts it on the songs is fantastic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I think about Les Claypool, I think of like literally the apex of bass playing. Like, this guy has done things on the bass that like I've never heard before. Like,
yep.
And not only does he just play like, he'll play like your standard 4-string bass, but he'll play the 6-string bass. He'll play banjo. Yeah. He plays all these other instruments.
He played upright bass.
Exactly. And just the way he does it and all the different styles that he does, I feel like he's literally capable of anything. And I don't think it's an accident when Metallica said that they didn't want him because he was basically just too good.
Yeah.
He was too good for it. Like, their music isn't sophisticated enough for Les Claypool to really mesh with them. They almost felt like.
Obviously.
Yeah.
So I got to take the man, the Southbound Pachyderm, Les Claypool.
I like it.
Yep.
So for my number 2 pick, already picked bass. I got to continue out my rhythm section. So I'm going to pick my favorite drummer and the one that I think maybe not the most talented, but he's incredibly versatile in the stuff that I've heard him do. He's done some really incredibly basic poppy stuff. He's drummed for hip-hop artists, and he's an incredible teacher. I mean, not that I personally know, but just from what I've seen him do online and stuff. And that's Travis Barker from Blink-182.
Yeah.
The dude, I mean, like, he almost died in a plane crash.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And he came back, and he's still just kicking ass. And Blink 182 is not the most artistic or intricate kind of music, but he's been able to do stuff in some of his other bands, and he did a remix for I forgot who the artist. Oh, Flow Rida's Apple Bottom Jeans, and he works a lot with hip hop artists and does their beats.
Yeah.
And there's some times where I've seen hip hop artists on late night talk shows, and Travis Barker's just in the back playing drums for him. And this guy does, in terms of like drums, he can cover a wide variety of music. He's not just like, if he has to, I'm sure he could do metal. I haven't heard him do any sort of metal stuff, double kick or anything like that. But I mean, I think he does have that versatility to just go into any genre of music. And to me, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, he was really old. He was always the best part of Blink 182. Yeah. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I was not a big Blink 182 fan, but I always liked Travis Barker.
Travis.
And the other bands that he was in, I've seen some of them live, and he was always the best part of that band. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
So I have no. I put a stamp on that one.
So going into my third pick, I'm gonna pick a guitarist, and I fell into the trap of having a guy in my mind and then realizing he's no longer alive. So, and it wasn't Zappa. It was Stevie Ray Vaughan. And then that's what sucks because he's a versatile guy as well. He's done some crazy things. Like, I mean, there's Jimi Hendrix. There's all these other greats have done some certain things. But Ray Vaughan did one of my favorite songs, "Dirty Pool," and he's playing a 6-string guitar like a mandolin.
Yeah,
and it sounds amazing. But now I'm completely drawing a blank on who I would want on guitar. So I think I'm gonna have to dip into the De La Rocha band and pick up what's his name?
Tom Morello?
Tom Morello.
Tom Morello. Yeah.
Ooh, Tom Morello.
Yeah.
I mean, man. I mean, it's almost like we don't even need to talk about this guy. He's so good.
He's fucking good, dude.
Yeah,
Debo, explain to me.
And he's, I mean, he too, what I like about him is that he's able to take a sound, take an instrument that everybody just, for the most part, plays as it's designed to play.
Yeah.
And, he'll tweak around with the knobs, he'll tweak around with certain effects, kind of like what the dudes in Korn do, but on a individual level, and just make such unique sounds. And, he's versatile as well, even though Audioslave and Rage, his two most popular bands, are kind of similar, but he's also an incredible activist. That's outside his actual playing ability, but just everything I've heard him play. Yeah, I mean, every awesome riff in Rage, even some of the stuff in Audioslave. Yeah. Like, I don't particularly care for whatever his name was from Soundgarden, Chris
Cornell.
Cornell. Like, I don't care for him as a singer personally, but man, Tom Morello. I mean, he's got it. Yeah. He's got it.
So, I think what I want to do right now is I'm thinking about who Gooch is going to take, if he might take my guy that I really want. But I was thinking maybe I don't want that guy, actually. So I think what I'm going to do right now before this guy gets taken, because in my band, I don't know. I think the most talented singer in rock is Jimmy Necco, but I'm not going to take him because I think in my band, I want this other guy who I think is also super talented. But I think that when this guy's range, when he really wants to sing, normally, this guy's fantastic. I think when this guy wants to sing metal, he can do it. When he wants to sing any which way, I think this guy is one of the most talented singers that I think. And not only that, like, he's beyond that. Like, he's like, how Maynard's a good singer, but this guy does a lot of other things other than just singing, like Pussifer and all this other stuff, Perfect Circle and everything. I think this guy is also one of those guys, but he's even more eclectic. And I'm talking about Mike Patton. And I want him to be the singer for my band. Because not only can he play instruments, he can play any weird instrument that you want too, but also his lyrics are out there. And when this fool really sings, this fool's voice is really, really good.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to take Mike Patton, obviously from Faith No More, from Tomahawk, which I love both of them. And obviously he's from Mr. Bungle and a bunch of other, like Phantomas and a bunch of other real weird, eclectic, experimental groups. But if you don't know who Mike Patton is, you need to get educated, son.
Yep.
So I'm gonna throw a wild card here. I'm gonna go with my fifth, my auxiliary.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cherry pick this guy because he could fill multiple roles.
Yes.
So I'm gonna pick Trent.
I knew you were gonna die. I almost thought about taking him. I knew you were gonna take. I was like, should I take him now? No.
Trent, but I'm gonna take. He's my auxiliary.
I'm afraid he might take over my super band.
Yeah. So that's true. That's true. But dude, imagine Trent, fucking Zach De La Rocha,
Tony Iommi.
Dude, I don't even know what we're going on with that one, dude. So Of course,
And they probably all know each other.
exactly.
Like
I'm
each
sure
other.
they do. I'm sure they do. So I mean, if you
Well,
guys,
you know that Trent and Zach De La Rocha did an album together.
Yeah.
That never got released.
yeah, never got released. They didn't allow it to. What it
It
was
was
a studio.
The Rage Against the Machine's record company didn't allow it.
Yeah,
I
didn't
don't
allow
think.
it. Yeah. So if you guys don't know who Trent Reznor is, please look him up because he's between 1989. He was out there before, but he was like a 80s.
How would you guys
Super
rate
bad.
him in terms of most influential single person musicians?
Influential?
Influential.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't consider Trent Reznor influential. Like, who does he influence?
Almost every single rock band that we listened to in the 90s and 2000s.
I don't
were
know. I
influenced
wouldn't
by
go
Trent.
there. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just out of touch, but I wouldn't say every single rock band.
In the 90s and 2000s?
Yeah. It wouldn't be Nine Inch Nails. Like if you go up to Linkin Park,
They're
you talk
influenced
to
by
them.
Nine Inch Nails.
Yeah.
They're not going to listen. No,
They definitely are interested. They've even said that.
No, they said Ministry.
I've heard Who do you think? Nine Inch Nails in Ministry? I'm sure even Al Jorgensen was
I don't know.
influenced by Nine Inch Nails.
I disagree.
Okay.
Either way, they're amazing. So Trent is pretty much by himself. It's 9 Inch Nails is him, and he gets badass musicians to play for him. For live band and whatnot. So Trent's gonna be my auxiliary, and I have drums and bass left.
Yep.
I don't know these positions very well, so I'm just gonna I don't like Bill Ward. Nah, I'm gonna go with the guy from Rage for the drummer.
Okay.
I don't know who he is,
Okay.
but I really don't. But I saw him live. Like, he was badass when he did the.
But I don't think that was the original drummer.
Was it?
We saw Audio Slave live, by the way. I don't think we saw Rage live. Unless you
No,
saw him
no,
without me.
no. They were the black for Black Sabbath. They didn't play with Bill Ward. They played with the guy from Rage Against the Machine.
Okay.
So
It
he was
is
awesome.
Tim Comerford.
There you go.
Okay.
So I don't know bass and I don't know drums very well. So I'm gonna have to go that way. So
Okay, so my guitarist, there's a couple guys I just want to mention before I name my guy, because I feel like these guys are the type of guys. I don't know if they'll be best in the super band, but I really respect them.
Got to get in that mic.
Respect them as obviously Dimebag. He's dope.
Yeah.
He's dead though, of course. Michael Brook is a guitarist. I don't know if you guys know him, but he invented this guitar called the Infinity guitar, and I really, really respect him and like him. Robert Fripp, of course. Adam Jones is the guy. Is one of the best of all time in my opinion. Just the sound, the sound that he creates is one of the best. I really have a lot of respect for Wes Borland, especially with Black Light Burns. I love him. But the guy I'm picking in my band is Omar Rodriguez Lopez from the Mars Volta.
yeah,
That's my guitarist. And I almost feel like he is the modern day Hendrix in a lot of ways. Like what he can do, what he does, the way he plays, it's very similar to like a psychedelic band from the 60s and 70s. And he's really a throwback guitarist, but I feel like if you're going to pair him with Les Claypool and you're going to pair him with Mike Patton, I mean, you're going to get something special there. And so that's why I'm taking Omar because... And don't get me wrong, like some of the other groups he's been in, I don't like him. But if he plays the way he plays in Mars Volta, like I'm not a big fan of At the Drive-In, but Mars Volta I love, and I love what he's done in that band. And the guitar work is very technical, very specific, very complex.
Yeah, nice. So up next, I'm going to choose my vocalist, and it's somebody whom I first heard sing probably 98, maybe 99.
Clint Keaton.
No. Actually, no. Maybe it was later. Maybe it was more 2002, 2003. Picked up their demo off Audio Galaxy. You remember Audio Galaxy?
Yes, sir.
The precursor to Napster. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Audio Galaxy came before Napster because you couldn't even find full albums. You had to download MP3s file by file.
Right. Well, I used to use LimeWire and all them. So before.
Yeah. So this was
It's the same thing, though.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
the same thing.
LimeWire, Audio Galaxy, and then Napster came out because I think Audio Galaxy was like LimeWire, where we could download videos.
LimeWire
and
became
porn and all that
Morpheus?
stuff too.
I
think LimeWire became Morpheus, right?
No, they became Kaza,
Yeah,
and then Morpheus.
Kaza.
And now I just do use BitTorrent for stuff. Regardless, listen to his albums from then till now, and I feel that this person's grown as a singer. I've seen him live; puts on a great show. People love him. He's got a pretty wide range. He's got some very aggressive vocals, which I like. He's able to growl. He's able to scream. And if he's got to do that soft, make that pussy wet kind of song, he can do it. And even on this Just As Kids Looks Alone, like, girls are going to look at him, the panties are just going to start to soak. But at the same time, I've also followed his movie career as well.
So one of your criteria for picking a singer means he has to make the panties wet. He has to be PD.
Well,
panty dropping.
There's 2 things you need from a singer. 1, to sing. 2, but you don't to draw in the bitches.
But if you draw on the ladies, you don't actually have to sing good though. Right? You don't even have to be good looking.
Yeah, but for me,
but you have to be
if the ladies like it.
But for me, I'm building a super band.
Axl Rose can't sing, isn't good looking, gets all the pussy.
Right.
That's just
and now he's singing for AC/DC, which sucks.
Yeah, that sucks.
But regardless, going back to my singer, who's not Axl Rose, followed his movie career, and you're going to be able to see him sometime, I think in August, when he's starring in The Suicide Squad as the Joker, and that's Jared Leto.
Yeah. Oh, Jared Leto. I thought you were going to take Richard Patrick for sure.
Yeah. I was thinking about that like a couple weeks ago, but for me, like, Richie, he's got... I'm not a fan of his softer type of vocals, and when he does this, like when he take a picture and all that stuff, like that doesn't get it for me. And I mean, his scream is nice, but for the most part, he's kind of like Trent, right, in the sense to where he's a master. No, he's a jack of all trades, a master of none. Yeah. So Richard Patrick, he's not a masterful singer, he's not a masterful guitarist or bass player, but when he's able to combine a lot of that stuff, he can make a good sound. Now Jared Leto, decent guitarist, he's able to put together some riffs. I don't know, how much of all the 30 Seconds to Mars music is mostly his, but his vocals are. I mean, I love his vocals. I love his range. The stuff he puts together, it's like what he's saying is fine for me. And he's covered Bjork. He's able to cover a lot of these songs and still give his own feeling to it or his own stamp on it. And he's a guy who I want front in my band.
So who's the last member of your super band?
The last member of the Devo super band is somebody like I kind of flip-flopped. I was thinking of having a backup singer, somebody to kind of support Jared Leto. And then I realized, well, the person I had originally chose as my utility was Corey Taylor.
Oh, that's good.
As a backup singer. But then I was like, well, I think he is better as a main, like your main singer. And then even if I was looking for a utility player, whether or not I had to put him on bass, on guitar, hell, even on drums, or if I needed him in the studio to produce, I don't know. I wouldn't think of that kind of person with Corey Taylor. So I had to pick my number one member of Nine Inch Nails for the longest time. And that's my boy, Danny Lohner. Star of Crank 2.
That's right.
Even though he's only in it for like a minute. But, dude, Danny Lohner, he's whenever... Because he was a Fragility tour.
He was a Downward Spiral.
I didn't see anything from Downward Spiral.
No, I mean...
But on the album...
No, I mean, not maybe, but he was there for the tour.
Right.
He performed. He was a bassist.
Right, yeah. And so he played bass, he was on keyboards, playing guitar, backup vocals.
I think he did some guitar ambiences on the Downward Spiral album, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe.
And then, obviously, he's a producer. He helped produce the Underworld soundtrack.
He did some songs for it.
Same thing with The Perfect Circle.
He did some songs for it.
That song, Renholder.
That's him, man.
Yep. So, Danny Lohner's my utility guy.
I know
he does a lot of stuff.
Oh, man. Okay, so I'll have my utility guy to pick too, which is the only one that's picked him. And, I mean, obviously Trent would be the go-to guy. And it's like the one guy that you would think, oh, who's your utility? Oh, Trent, right? Because he can do anything,
and
right?
I like how the two utility guys are Nine Inch Nails guys.
Yeah. And Trent is like literally the master of being a jack of all trades. His voice isn't the best.
No.
His lyrics might not even be the best. He's not the best guitar player. He's not even probably the best keyboardist, really. No. But he's so talented that you put it all together. Yeah, right? And that's the kind of guy that you're thinking
Plus,
of.
Like Dio was saying, he can produce for you.
Yeah,
exactly. For you.
Exactly.
Whatever, dude.
And you know what's funny? On my list here, when I was looking at it, my list, Danny Lohner's on the list. Trent Reznor's on the list. Charlie Clouser's on the list.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've even got Sid Wilson on the list.
Oh.
I've got him on the list.
From Slipknot.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
But I think the guy that I'm going to choose is a guy that you guys won't know this guy's name, and most people won't know his name. But his name is Bryant Clifford Meyer, and he is the keyboardist / guitar ambience player for my favorite band of all time, and that's ISIS. And if you're familiar with ISIS, you're familiar with the moodiness and the tone and the atmospheric quality of the music, and that is a lot of it due to Bryant Clifford Meyer. And he's also been in Red Sparrows. He's been in some other band. I'm not sure if he was in that band with Chino XL. I mean Chino, what's his name? Not Chino
Moreno?
XL. Chino Moreno.
Deftones?
Tides or what's the name of that band?
Oh shit!
Waves or something. I forgot the name. But I'm not sure if he's in that band too. But this guy, I have a lot of respect for him. He's a big reason why.
Team Sleep.
Yeah, Team Sleep. He's a big reason why I love ISIS. And that's going to be my fifth guy because he's going to be the guy that doesn't want to be in the limelight. He just wants to be in backstage making all the sounds and making it sound great. And yeah, Trent would be my ideal because I love the way Trent does everything, but he's way too more controlling. This guy needs to be in the background because I've already got fucking a couple fucking super guys in my band like Mike
Les,
Patton, and
Patton.
fucking Les and
Omar.
shit, you know. So I think that gets it for me. What about you, Good?
Again, this is one
You need
of
a
the
singer, right? Did you pick
No,
him?
I got.
He's got a Zach De La Rocha.
Oh,
he needs
yeah.
drums.
I need a.
You need a drummer.
No, I need a
drummer.
bassist. I need a
No,
bassist.
you chose bass. Tim Comerford, guy from Rage.
No, that was the drummer.
That was a drummer.
That was
from
a
No,
drummer.
you said bassist.
No, I
No,
said
he said
drummer
drummer.
for drummer. I
Oh,
said drummer
well,
for
never
bass.
mind.
Well, who's the drummer from?
Let me find out real quick. So
No, the bassist. Again, it's one of my lesser known. So I'm just gonna go with Bill Ward. Not Bill Ward.
Well, because that's the thing is like you were talking about that, and then you started mentioning Bill Ward. I'm like, oh,
Well,
okay.
Bill Ward is the drummer for Black Sabbath.
Geezer
My bad.
He's a Butler.
So
the
your
bass-
drummer is Brad Wilk.
Yeah, there you go. And I'll go with Geezer Butler. Just
Giza.
I have to go with the Geezer because I love how he sounds on Black Sabbath. So because he's awesome. He's a
Okay.
legend, so I don't know. Tell you.
I'm
guys.
surprised. Okay, so now that we've got our guys together, before we say what our final picks were, our final super bands were, and talk about albums, I'm going to mention some guys that I'm surprised you guys didn't mention. First of all,
Because I got one too.
First of all, for you, Gooch, I'm surprised you didn't take anyone from Rammstein.
Yeah.
And I'm surprised you.
I was thinking about Tull.
I thought that's what I thought you would consider Tull too, but I was like, no, he's not American. And
Yeah.
So I don't care about that.
No,
Tull is very
the
like
other guy I'm surprised that none of you talked about was Dino from Fear Factory.
I see it for me.
Or
Fear
even
Factory
Christian
is,
de Waldebers. or
No,
whatever.
dude, it's Herrera.
Oh, I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. I'm
Like,
actually, I'm surprised you didn't talk about Tom Araya, fool.
From
As like
Slayer.
as
Slayer,
your
yeah.
other guy, because he could sing and he could play guitar.
And he's your countryman.
yeah, he is.
And he's
know,
dope as hell.
I was gonna pick. I was thinking of the guy from Mars Voltage for vocalist.
Cedric Bixler Zavala.
Yeah,
he's dope. He's dope.
So that was the other guy. I was like, well, I got to put a Latin guy on there. I was like, well,
I'm surprised you didn't.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't pick Richard D. James.
Aphex Twin. I thought about maybe one of the Hartnell brothers from Orbital. I thought about Photek,
Yeah.
Rupert Parks. I thought about Richard D. James. But then I thought to myself, do I want this to be an electronic group, or do I
Yeah.
want this to be like a band that I feel is like the type of band that would be my favorite band?
Yeah.
Which is not generally the electronic types of groups. I still like them.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
ISIS, Jacob, Tool, like those are my favorite bands, and they don't have they use electronics, but it's more of atmospheric, and that's why I picked the guy from which also by the way the guitarist from the band Jacob, excellent with the guitar atmospheric stuff, along with Trent and these types of guys.
I the same thing with you. I went the same way. I would like to hear Zach play with Trent, and
Yeah.
and that would be kind of music. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Tom Morello was the other one. I'm like, I would love. They're just good together. You know?
Yeah.
There's a couple guys that you knew were going to get taken. It just didn't matter who got
Yeah.
them, like Tom Morello,
Yeah.
Les
Yeah.
Claypool,
Les Claypool,
these type of
Trent,
guys.
yeah.
Trent, you knew they were going to get taken because they're too good.
Because I was thinking like you can mix it up and like your auxiliary could be Daft Punk because they're technically both DJs.
Thomas Bangholzer was on my list of guys that I could take.
See, that's what I mean. But then I thought to myself, I'm like, well, Daft Punk and that electronica is good. It's fine. You know what I mean? Leave it there. But I really would want a band that plays
Exactly.
music, either heavy or industrial. Something
Whatever,
like that.
yeah, exactly.
Something like that in my mind. That's why I had it in my mind. So you can't mess with Tony Iommi and the guys we pick with us. For this.
I'm surprised Maynard didn't get picked.
See, I was thinking about that, but then I kind of think that Maynard's like the go-to choice. Like especially with us and all the music that we like he's kind of like I feel the epitome of music.
Yeah.
And like even every time we go to Tool or even a Perfect Circle, it's like everybody worships Maynard. Like Maynard is those bands, right? Even though
But he's kind of an asshole, right? I don't really want him in my
I
band
mean,
a little bit,
I don't know.
I mean, he's like
I
in
wouldn't
terms
call him
of
an
chemistry.
asshole, but like I mean, for all I know, he works well on Tool, and he works great with Billy Howardell and the rest of
I love him.
DC.
I love him.
And obviously Pussifer's working.
I think he's the most. I think he's the most skilled singer, for
Yeah.
sure. Like what he can do, he has all the things. Maybe his voice isn't the best or something. I still think Neko's voice is better.
and he makes a decent bottle of wine.
But yeah, this guy.
Does he really?
Yeah.
I'm
Did you
surprised. I'm
trace it?
surprised
Yeah.
no one took Phil.
Clint got me some for I think,
I
birthday
did.
or Christmas.
Caдаcious or
Yeah.
whatever. It was pretty. He said it was
Yeah,
pretty fucking
yeah,
tasty.
good.
Phil Anselmo.
No, Jesus.
Yeah, he's his voice though.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about screaming and singing,
that's
he's good.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. To me, I'm only familiar with him and his work in Pantera, and it's you're basically getting a one trick pony.
But he
Yeah.
can still sing though. when he
I
wants to.
haven't heard it.
He's got some songs like Suicide Note and stuff like that. But
I don't remember.
Jared Leto was on my list too. Of
Yeah.
course, I love it. I love him. That's the thing about Jared Leto. I like him. Even like I like him, like the way he presents himself, and like he looks like just a really cool person. You know what I mean? And like that you could actually hang out with, especially when we saw him 30 Seconds to Mars,
Yeah.
and the guy was being a dickhead, and he like was like, "Hey, this fucking guy right here, get this piece of shit out of here."
Yeah.
And then they're taking away. Everyone say goodbye to that motherfucker. I was like, that's a cool guy. Like he's not
Yeah.
gonna put up with bullshit. People acting like an asshole.
Yeah.
you know. And I mean, Trent was the same way. Remember when we went to see him? Trent was like, "Okay, can we just stop the show? Like, there's people that are hurt right here.
Yeah.
that was
There's people
cool.
that are passed out and like they're in trouble. They need medical attention. This is ridiculous."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but the one guy that I'm surprised that I think is very underrated, and I don't think people talk about him. Not only is this guy a great front man, this fool actually can sing, and actually his lyrics are fantastic. Brian Warner,
From
Marilyn Manson.
oh.
Am I wrong? Are his
No,
lyrics not good?
no, his lyrics
Can
are
this
good.
fool sing?
No, you can sing.
He puts on a
hell of a show.
Yeah,
I missed it.
He's a great. He's what you want in a front man.
Yeah, I don't remember what tour it was he was on, but before this, I'd never really. I mean, Beautiful People, fine. It was what it was. I didn't like any of the Dope Show stuff, and
When he got with Tim Skold.
yeah, and then when he got with Tim Skold, and did Golden Age Grotesque. This was I listened to that after I saw his show, but Chris dragged me out. He's like, dude, I got to, if I can get a ticket, do you want to go? I'm like, I don't like Manson, blah, 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 blah.
I remember that.
I really don't want to go. He's
Me
like,
and him are already going, and we tried to get you to
yeah,
go with
he's
us.
like, just go. I'm like, all right. So I went, and like, just alone, the show that this guy put on, I was like, that's fucking awesome.
Remember John
Like,
Five is literally running in a circle. the
Yeah,
whole time.
that's
I was
all
like,
he
how's
does.
this fool not fall over?
Yeah. And then Madonna Wayne Gacy, like I love that how his keyboard was on this giant spring, and like even as a keyboardist, like most keyboardists would just stand there and hit the keys, but he was going at it. He was just going like he had that thing bent over at like a 90-degree angle, and he's playing it practically upside down. Like the entire band just rocked, and they
was a
all put on a
spectacle.
they put on a great show.
Well, that was like when we saw Rammstein. Rammstein was an amazing show, and like the whole thing about the keyboard being on the spring. I remember the whole keyboardist. Like he was on a platform about
There was just
10
pillars of
Oh, yeah.
fire.
and then he was like going back and forth on the platform, going like this. Keyboard
Yeah.
was everywhere, and every single time they say "Fear or Fry," and
It was
shoot
just
out
fucking
fire
just
and
pillars
shit.
of fire. Like you can feel it on your face.
It was such a great show.
And even
dude.
Slipknot, man, they had like
Slipknot
a six.
was-
They had 666 on both sides. And
Yeah.
just fire shooting out of it when they
Yeah.
said, and 666. I mean, those were the shows, though. I mean, they don't.
Yeah, yeah.
Shows like that don't.
They don't
haven't
come
come around
around.
that often
Yeah,
anymore. I
those
mean,
were
it's a
good.
festival.
No.
It's a festival atmosphere right now in the
Yeah.
music
Yeah.
scene right now. It's not really like a tour atmosphere. Like where not. I mean, like a band will have a tour. One or two groups, but not like 4, 5 big groups going out on the Pledge of Allegiance tour type
That was
thing.
great, yeah.
No, it's not as big anymore. At least I don't hear about it.
I mean, they have the big festivals like you were saying, and they're like hell of expensive to go to.
I'm surprised Adam Jones didn't get picked. Obviously, I was looking at, and so yeah, Thomas Bangalter was another guy that I thought that one of us might pick because we all love Daft Punk so much.
Yeah.
Joey Jordison, not picked. Not picked. I thought you might go there, Devo.
Yeah.
I almost picked him over Brand Daler, and I probably should have taken Danny Carey with Les Claypool and Omar and shit. Then I should have taken Brand because he's more of a metal drummer. But yeah, so I want you guys to come tell us what your super band is and explain to us what kind of album you think they will make.
Okay. I could start off with that. Like you want to like come up with a name or something, or
Not a name, but just
Oh.
like what kind of album you think it'll be, like the hits and length of songs and how many tracks and stuff like that.
I mean, looking at these guys, it's not like
who are your guys?
so. I mean, Justin Chancellor on bass, Travis Barker, Tom Morello, Jared Leto, Danny Lohner. So you're not looking at a improvisational band. You're not looking at a band that's going to be writing 8 to 10-minute long songs, like your ISIS's and even some Tool stuff. But these guys are gonna be doing 2-3 minute mark, not super radio friendly. There's gonna be maybe 1 or 2 songs that you can play on the radio, but it's gonna be it's gonna be very rhythmic with Barker and Chancellor, even with Morello. Jared Leto is obviously going to lead everything, and the focus kind of mostly be on him. But with Danny Aloner doing backup, we're going to have just an amazing depth with whether we have a keyboard on a song, additional drums, additional bass lines, additional guitar, or even just backup vocals.
What kind of music do you think it'll end up being?
It's going to be more of a hard rock for sure.
Like with a little bit of electronics in it, or not too much?
Maybe not too much. I think with Loner and Leto, they're going to have a little bit of because 30 Seconds to Mars is considered a space rock band, and I think a lot of that has to do with just the fact that Leto's got that whole sci-fi feel. With 30 seconds
and stuff.
So there's going to be a little bit of that influence, and I can see Danny Aloner supporting that with maybe on keyboard or something, or. Tom
Morello can definitely do some spacey guitar shit.
Yeah. So, and I personally like that kind of style. So it's going to be more of maybe not necessarily like 30 Seconds to Mars, but like a harder version of a sort of I don't want to say electronic rock, because when I think electronic rock, I think of like a Nine Inch Nails that has a pure keyboard or something like that. But it's going to have not a traditional 4/4 sort of thing, but it's going to have an ability to kind of just go off on a little bit of a tangent and just explore some different notes and then just come back and finish out the song.
So I've got Mike Patton singing, Omar at guitar, Les Claypool at bass, Brandaler at the drums, and the Brian Clifford Meyer doing the atmospheric stuff. So I would think that would mean the band itself would be a little darker, maybe a little bit darker. Because I know Les Claypool's stuff has some bright stuff, but it has some dark stuff too, actually. Omar, I could see it being. I feel like this group, especially with Mike Patton can go anywhere. Like it's like almost unpredictable what he's gonna do in the course of a song, and so I feel like this band will be very technical, very specific, but also a lot of improvisation, because Les Claypool just kind of does what he does. Omar just does what he does, And Brandaler, if you actually listen to Mastodon, is kind of wild. He's kind of wilder. He's not like so, verse chorus type thing. They just kind of go all, especially. And when I think of Brandaler, I think of like Crack the Sky, how it's very spiritual, has like a spiritual quality to it and this ethereal quality. And especially when you add Brian Clifford Meyer into it, I really think that you could kind of bring that out. Especially with Mike Patton. I feel like Mike Patton has any type of range. So I feel like this band would have like maybe a song or two that maybe could be what you had thought of as being a radio song, but most of them were going to be ranged from 5 to 10 minutes, 5 to 8 or 9 minutes. And I think Mike Patton actually would not sing too much. It might go long periods of time where he's not singing at all, which would be sort of unusual for him because he does sing a lot on a lot of his songs.
Oh, yeah.
But I think in this one, you got to kind of let Les and Omar kind of do their thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, lead the way.
And I think maybe even like Mike Patton might have a lot of times where he's just making sounds. Not even
just like
lyrics.
a growling sound.
Just growling sounds or weird screaming sounds and stuff like that.
That's interesting.
That's what I've kind of envisioned. And that's like that kind of experimentation, as long as it has a good rhythm, which is why I put my boy Brandon there, because he ain't going to make some weird fucking rhythms and shit.
Yeah.
Still going to be a metal-ish type rhythm that I like.
Yeah.
Then now we're talking.
See, I kind of like that, because for me personally, the lyrics and the vocals are the least important thing for music. And even though I chose Jared Leto, who's like, 30 Seconds to Mars, it is like
it's his voice,
and that is what it is. And that's another reason why I didn't choose like a Maynard or something like that, right? Because I don't want the vocals to be the main aspect of the music, but I do like the fact that your vocalist is more of a supporter and creating atmosphere and ambience, as opposed to be like, okay, let me sing about this broken heart I have.
Yeah. I always liked singers that like use their voice as an instrument more than I'm like telling a story type
exactly
thing,
yeah
Especially at least in this type of music. If a rapper is a different thing, right?
Yeah.
And then if you need to tell a story, you've got Mike Patton and Les Claypool.
Exactly.
So for me,
I never thought about that. Les Claypool could sing backup vocals on the damn album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
so for me, I chose, since My guys, pretty much, it's Zach De La Rocha, it's
Tony
Iommi,
Geezer Butler, Trent,
the Trent,
and Brad Wilk.
Drummer, right?
So I mean, you've got your band is basically Black Sabbath.
Black Sabbath,
Because you've got Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Brad Wilk. Brad Wilk was playing drums for Sabbath when we went to go watch.
So it's pretty much Rage, Black Sabbath with Trent. Pretty much
Trent and Zach De La Rocha.
Yeah.
Who can both sing.
They can both sing. So pretty much, I envision, Trent probably would take control, mind you, but he would utilize Tony Iommi's and Bill, Geezer Butler's legendary guitar and bass playing in a way that we probably wouldn't even imagine what he could do.
No,
because Trent has that vision of music that a lot of people don't have. It's that he can put music together, tear it apart, put it together, and make something just amazing with it. And then, of course, with Zach's vocals, if you need vocals, they're on your face.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's I've always liked about Rage Against the Machine is that it's always in your face. You don't have to have music, although a lot of the Rage is it has to do with like him singing about politics.
Yeah, because he's making
Trent
a point.
actually been singing about politics a lot too.
And that's why
not even that, but like with Zach's vocals, it's like even his like hip hop style.
Yeah.
It's not like he's trying to do melodies. He's delivering a message.
He's delivering a message.
That's what his vocals are. It's less about like, all right, I'm going to accompany the music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I love him.
I love how he does. So I just imagine that I don't know how Trent would do it. And Trent singing vocal in the background. Could you imagine? It'd be great.
How to Destroy Angels.
Yeah, exactly.
I still want to hear that Zach De La Rocha and Trent album.
That'd be amazing. I'd love to see what that came out with. So I would imagine it would be like when Trent sang Supernaut.
Oh yeah,
with Ministry in the background. So I just
Thousand Homo DJs.
Thousand Homo DJs. Yeah. So throw some of that in there with some of the more like classical heavy metal from Black Sabbath, and you throw some more electronic and industrial sounds in there, and I think it would be great, to be honest.
So you essentially have an industrial Black Sabbath.
You have Nin and Black Sabbath together,
which would be crazy.
Yeah, it would be crazy
with Zach De La Rocha.
Zach De La Rocha singing,
that's your that Gooch. You did pick your ultimate super. Yeah. You did. You basically did.
That's awesome. I like that.
And I always have this feeling about Trent. Like I almost feel like when Trent writes music, it almost sounds like he hears the finished product in his head instead of like a lot of musicians probably like work on some riff and then like try to make a song out of that, or like go to someone else, oh, can you put something on this, blah blah blah. It starts like from one little melody. It almost feels like when Trent makes music, it was complete in his head, and it's about him finding the sounds and the riffs and the melodies to like put it together.
Honestly,
that's what his music. It sounds so refined.
I love it. I mean, I think we got kind of gypped when it was Soundgarden opening for him and not How to Destroy Angels. I actually would have liked to have seen that. To be honest with you, I mean, I know,
but we did get to see it in in Perfect Circle. I mean,
obviously, I mean, can't
really
complain,
amazing,
right?
But
that's as close as you're gonna get. Maynard and Trent on the same stage. Come on,
that was great, dude. Yeah, so there we go.
Yep,
super bands.
Yes, sir.
Got him.
So guys, if you're listening out there, or you're listening a year from now, or a month from now, or 10 years from now, we've got some suggestions for you. Get together, make these albums happen,
and at the same time, tell us who your super band would be.
And Trent, and Zach and them release that album.
Exactly.
I mean, it's been 20 years now, or 10 years. How long has it been?
Just release it on the internet.
Release it on the internet, dude.
Exactly.
Fuck your damn.
Hey, like didn't Trent do that with the Slip or something? He left it on a USB drive somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he just let it go. Yeah. But Trent's been cool.
Or was it Ghosts?
No, Ghosty released fully, but the Slip,
it was the
he
Slip.
he released songs in the bathrooms of at the shows.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That was cool.
And remember that one? That was cool because remember when the person got the file and put it on their computer and looked at the WAV file, it was a fucking hand.
Yeah. No, that was for
that was year zero.
That was year zero.
Year zero. I'm sorry.
Remember year zero? He did like that whole it was like almost a scavenger hunt or something.
Yeah.
And then they got to play. They got to see a show.
Yeah.
They played "We're in This Together" for the first time.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That was cool.
That was amazing. Yeah. All right, so get together your super bands. Get to work. Getting them garages.
That's right.